I will go ahead and call this meeting to order. Miss Stacy, if you will please call the roll.
Lydia Gregory.
Here.
Billy Bass.
Here.
Chaz Kent.
Here.
Scotty Barrett.
Here.
Cordell Smith.
Here.
Eddie Stout.
Here.
Stephen Leish.
Here.
Casey Elrod.
Here.
Tommy Vane. Connor McDonald.
Here.
Danny Huff.
Here.
Barry Cahoon.
Here.
All right, that is a quorum. I will ask Chaz Kent if you will start us in prayer tonight.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the day today you've given us, Lord. Be with us tonight as we go through this meeting, Lord. Give us direction as you only would come from you. Just be with us, lead, guide, direct us, and just take care of us, Lord. And these things I pray in your gracious and holy name. Amen.
Amen. Next item on the agenda is the public comment. Miss Stacy, did we have anyone sign up for public comment?
No.
All right. Next item on the agenda is election of the chairman. So we'll now entertain motions and nominations for chairman.
I'd like to nominate Connor McDonald.
There's a nomination by Chaz Kent and a second by Lydia Gregory for Connor McDonald for chairman for another year. Are there any other nominations?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that nominations cease and we elect you by acclamation.
Motion to cease nominations and elect Connor McDonald for chairman by acclamation. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Lydia Gregory. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries, and Connor McDonald will be elected chairman by acclamation. The next item on the agenda is the election of vice chairman. Do I have any nominations?
Make a motion that we elect Mr. Chaz Kent as vice chairman.
There's a nomination for Chaz Kent as vice chairman. Is there a second on that nomination? Second by Mr. Cordell Smith. About to call you Junior. Second by Mr. Cordell Smith.
Junior my whole life.
Everybody knows you as Junior. All right. Any further nominations?
Make a motion that we cease nominations and elect Mr. Kent by acclamation.
A motion to cease nominations and elect Charles Kent by acclamation. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Mr. Kent, congratulations. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the July 31st, 2023 minutes. Those minutes were provided to you earlier. If there's any discussion or motion to approve the minutes, is there a second?
Second.
Motion to approve second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the committee discussion. The first topic is financial review. Under that, we have budget amendments. And Ms. Stacy, do you want to walk us through the budget amendments that we have tonight?
Resolution 1 on page 2 is for the general fund. We have a couple of categories, 55,510 and 56,300 that have additional grant funding. Do you want me to go ahead and review them all?
Yes, please.
Resolution 2 on page 3 is for the drug fund, 122. Request to move $5,000 from fund balance into other supplies and materials. On page 4, resolution 3 for the landfill fund is a couple of fund balance draws for purposes of a building that was not complete at the end of fiscal year 23 in the convenience center major category, and we had some pumps to go out at the landfill, so that is what the rental request is for. You also received a handout for resolution 4, which is the request of a fund balance draw to cover the contracted service for a Medicare audit in the ambulance service.
Thank you very much. Is there any questions or discussion on any of the resolutions? Yes, sir.
Everything at the landfill was already allocated at the end of last year. Okay.
Yes, so the The 24,000 would have been the additional cost of the 10,000 at convenience
That's
centers.
where
was
that
due to
compactors went down.
compactors went down.
But that 24 was,
Yes,
It was in the prior year and unspent, correct.
one that we missed rolling over, because we thought it would be done at the end of the year and it didn't.
Motion. Motion to group and approve.
Motion to group and approve by Casey Elrod, second by Stephen Lish. Any further discussion on any of the budget amendments? Seeing none, Ms. Stacy, please call the roll. Sorry.
No, you're good. Lydia Gregory,
Yes.
Billy Bass,
yes.
Chaz Kent,
Yes.
Scotty Barrett. Cordell Smith,
Yes.
Eddie Stout,
Yes.
Stephen Leish,
Yes.
Casey Elrod,
Yes.
Connor McDonald,
Yes.
Danny Huff, Barry Cahoon.
Yes.
Unanimous.
With that, resolutions 10-2023-01 through 10-2023-04 will move on to the full commission with approval. Next item on the agenda is under education debt. We have discussion of the 1981 Act.
Motion to discuss the full committee.
There's a motion to move the 1981 Act through to the full committee.
Second.
Second by full commission meeting. Second by Casey Elrod. Any discussion on that?
That's, you're moving it on for discussion.
For discussion?
correct?
Yes,
Okay.
that's what she said, I thought.
Okay, just making sure.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Hearing none, the ayes have it. The 1981 Act will move on for discussion to the full county commission. The next item on the agenda is the law enforcement, jail, emergency, and safety category. It is body cameras.
We've been discussing body cameras now for a few years. There's pros and cons to that, as everybody knows. It's been suggested to us that, especially for liability purposes, the day and age that we live in, that it's almost necessary that we go down the road and look into the body camera. So I've had Dusty dig into that, Lieutenant Haley dig into that pretty deep, and he can verse us on it, so I'll turn it over to him.
Detective Haley?
I'm Dusty Haley, I'm with the Smith County Sheriff's Office, I'm a lieutenant detective, and like Chief Roberts said, he's made a decision, him and the sheriff and administration, that we need to get into the body cam for the evidence preservation. I've reached out to a couple of different companies. We actually had a 30-day trial, and Junior Fields was one of my persons that tried out for 30 days. He can answer any questions about how they actually work, what kind of images are captured. Axon is the leader in technology right now. We'll be looking at a 5-year contract with $124,003.50. All we would have to have this year would be $43,616.21. And that would cover body cams, storage fees, all the other necessary stuff that we'd have to go along with this program.
Could you do those numbers one more time so I make sure I got them down right?
The full amount for the 5-year contract is $124,003.50. This year would be $43,616.21.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anyone have any further discussion or questions for Chief Roberts or Detective Haley? Yes, sir.
Just so for my peace of mind, can we use any of this money out of the drug fund?
We could possibly use a portion of, if you cannot do a reoccurring anything from the drugs. So the short answer is no, we cannot. Because the software updates and the 5-year program is reoccurring, and we're not allowed to do that. If you were just buying body cameras, one-time purchase, then you could.
Because we're kind of, is this gonna be like a lease type thing?
No, it's a purchase.
Okay.
We
So 5 years.
continue, the entire system comes together where it downloads and preserves. So you gotta have that, and it's a constant upgrade for that system and the hardware of that system.
So what's the upfront cost to buy the camera? Is there,
The upfront cost is gonna be this
The
year,
$43,000.
Decided to do it would be the 43,000.
Okay.
And that puts everything together. And then it goes down to the 18,000, 19,000, and it's lower over the next 4 years.
So, the 124,000, the 43,000 of the upfront cost for this year
Yes, sir.
comes out of that
That's
124.
right.
And then we just
That's
kind
right.
of pay down to the 124 to the end of the 5th year. And then we have to start this process over again.
Sorry. Yes, does continue.
With this, in this price, as you know with your electronic devices, after you buy a new cell phone, 6 months to a year from now, the battery doesn't keep up. Same thing with body cams. So in this price, we're gonna get 2 refreshes of body cams. About every 3 years, we're gonna get 25 new body cams.
Yeah, I mean, it's just gonna be an ongoing recurrence of a cost because of updates and those kinds of things. What kind of loop are the cameras on? Is it a 24-hour loop? Does that download into a system that stays for 2 weeks? Security systems that I'm familiar with is just, stationary cameras.
Junior actually wore that camera for, and Ricky Mailer wore one up to the high school. They're totally sold on them, and Junior can tell you what he experienced.
So the camera, it activates when I turn it on. So anytime I have contact with someone, I would activate the camera. It gets what I'm saying. Instead of, we've got cameras in our cars currently, have had for several years. But it's a straight shot, whatever's in front of the car. So if we're off over here dealing with someone, it's not capturing anything. So when we go to court, a lot of things are not on the video, such as DUIs, when we're doing field sobriety tests. They're gonna get somebody walking, or if they're doing a walk and turn, but they're not gonna get their feet. If we've got that on our body, we can angle ourselves to where we're gonna get more clues and be able to show the attorneys, hey, your client was intoxicated, or if they want to. Search warrants and residences. We had one the first day that I had the camera, we done a search warrant at a residence. If we hadn't had my video camera, we wouldn't have got anything inside the house. We'd have just got the audio. So they are absolutely a needed item. It's gonna save us. It's gonna save, it keeps everybody protected. The taxpayers, the officers, and over time, fortunately, we haven't run into it at this point in time. We haven't been sued. But if we get in a situation and we don't have it on, because most everywhere else has gone to it. Trouser County's gone to it. DeKalb County, Putnam County, Wilson County, everywhere around us is going to it. Carthage City has it, and THP, and so does Gordon Police Department. So we're falling behind on this. This is something we really need to do.
Do they also use Axon, all the other departments?
THP uses Axon, Metro Natural uses Axon. These are other companies that some of the cheaper cameras, you're gonna get what you pay for. The quality is not good at all. And you're gonna pay a lot of money for something that may work and may not. I'm not saying that their cameras don't work, but I know that the Axon will work because I tested it. And it's really good. I don't think you're gonna save much money by going to a different company.
Does the, I think maybe the earlier question about price, you said 5-year term, first year's 43 and the subsequent years are lower. Is year 6, if we do another contract with Axum, is that gonna be another one of those 19 or 20, or is that gonna be the higher price again?
I didn't check that far out.
Okay.
I think they only go for a 5-year.
Right.
Then you would have to renegotiate.
Redo the whole thing, so we'd probably be looking at a similar contract again. Okay, right, okay.
Just so we're clear, that would be, give or take, going forward, 30,000 a year,
20, average
By the time it goes up.
21, 22,000, I'd say.
Yeah.
Is this a camera for every officer?
It is, and the school resource.
And the school.
And that's something that's huge. We, like the chief said, one of our SROs did test the other one out. And any interaction with kids, parents that's irate, whatever's going on in school, they're gonna have that on that body camera. If it's just relying on the car, they're not gonna have it. So it's a good thing.
A portion of my question was, is that transmitted wirelessly back to dispatch? Is it controlled at dispatch? I know you have to turn it on when you go to interaction. Is that something that's stored in the camera?
It's stored in the camera, and we would take it and download it at the office, and it would download daily, and then they would have, or within a few days, because they fill up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Actually, I had it for about a month?
It was well over 3.5 weeks.
3.5 weeks, and I downloaded it one time, so it holds quite a bit. But I had to take it to him. He plugged it in the computer as a evidence custodian and downloaded it in there. So it's not something that goes directly back, but it's something that the sheriff, if he wanted to review a video, he can pull it out pretty quick.
And see, the ones that I was talking about, it goes on and it's on a loop. It's like on a 14-day loop. And, you know, after 14 days, those come off unless you need to, you know, it's kind of like your basic security systems at a church or whatever.
No, this would upload to a cloud.
Yeah, so it has to be uploaded. You may not have to upload nothing for 2 days if you don't have an altercation. But as soon as you have that altercation and you go do your report, you can download that and keep it on file.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, Commissioner Inger.
Thank you. I've got a couple of questions. Due to the size of this bid, this is for Mr. Hassler, would this be a solicitation bid that we need to do because of the amount? I mean, I know that, I like the research that they've done, but because of this amount, shouldn't we put this out for an RFP?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, purchasing over here.
Well,
Yeah.
They would be because they're state, it's Axon's, THP has them, so I would assume they're on.
I mean, it's over the
That's
bid
something we
threshold,
check.
but it's state contract.
Yeah.
The answer would be yes, if it's not on state contract, it would automatically buy the amount.
Awesome, wonderful. Retention of the footage itself, what does that look like? Is there a cap to that?
I actually been working with Mr. Hasler on a retention policy, and there's the storage, and as he explained to me in an email, that part's still new. And what we had looked at was anything that did not have a current case, which means a year has passed, and there's no case coming from that, we were gonna get rid of that. And then I think you said for its liability would be 3 years. He might speak better than I could, but we've already been working on that.
Yeah, we had that. I followed up with CTAS. CTAS is the one that's tasked with managing retention schedules. So I've had some conversations with them. It's pretty clear on video that captures matters related to alleged crimes and well, that you have to maintain that throughout the course of the case, however long that is. What's unclear is randomly collected data. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah,
You know,
other incidentals.
yeah, and there's no real guidance even from CTAS on that. I hope that they're developing policy, but the guidance that they did give and what we've discussed is at least maintaining it long enough to get past the 1 year for, you know, personal injury if we happen to be sued. There's also an idea of a 3 year. But at the minimum, we discussed and that we need to keep it for a year, and we'll be working on those retention schedules in the policy.
Okay. Then follow-up question would be that, so the retention of that data, that's included in the price, there's no cap or anything with that, correct? Okay. And then my last question is for the sheriff's office, do you guys need a bigger, I work in IT, so, do you need a bigger network speed for uploads for this? Because that's going to be a lot of data going through your internet provider.
Sir, I couldn't answer that question.
We've got, we don't see that would be a problem with what DTC is furnishing us now.
Right.
We're pretty much on target, so I don't believe that an upgrade would be needed there.
Okay.
I can't say 100%, but I'm
True.
pretty sure.
Okay. I just didn't want to, if this, you know, if we go on, then you're going to come back and go, hey, we also need, you know, internet to be upgraded as well. That's all I've got. Thank you.
Any other questions?
How many cameras does this cover? Is it unlimited for our department, or how do they set the price?
We discussed, you don't know how many cameras we're getting. We discussed for to be 25, we're going to cover 9 SROs and the 16 that work the road.
Any other commissioners who are here have any questions? Yes, sir.
As far as evidence preservation, I'm trying to think of use case scenarios here. Obviously, you mentioned, you'll use it on stops, or if you're doing any type of DUI, field sobriety test, those kind of things. Would you use them, in your course of investigation, talking to a potential suspect, or transport and those kind of things as well? Just to, I know you may have a driver in the front and you may have somebody in the back. I don't know what kind of interior cameras you have in the vehicles now.
So we currently have rear-facing cameras in our patrol cars as well, with the cameras that's inside. I did keep, when I was testing it, I did keep it on. The more video, the better,
Right,
the way I see it. So I don't know, as far as doing an investigation, as far as interview interrogation, probably not, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, out in the field, if you're doing.
In the field, yes, it would be.
Not in an interrogation room at the
A
courthouse.
good example of that, about a year ago, we chased a car down in Wilson County, in the city limits of Lebanon. The subject would not get out of the car. The officer took a couple of blunt force blows to the chest and got him out of the car. His mother, through a duck fit, said that we beat him, drug him out of the car. You remember that? You hadn't heard that? Sheriff can tell you, because he suffered through most of it. So that's the kind of liability that we're faced with. Had we been put in a compromising situation to where that somebody else was with him or somebody in the back seat, and they agreed totally, yes, that's what happened, when it was farthest thing from the truth. But all we had was that video, and it turned out that it was not that way, so we skated over that, but it could have been a serious problem for us. So to answer your question, yes, there are times when that camera would cut the liability. I mean, it would just be proof positive, so to speak.
I know I discussed with Sheriff and the Chief months ago. I actually asked you guys about body cameras myself. And in that discussion, I know an officer never wants to use their service weapon, but there have been service weapons discharged. I think of things like that, just other things to where it's not anybody's word against anybody. You've got the clear facing evidence of exactly what happened.
What is the legal problems that we could run into if there was an altercation and there was no evidence, there was no body camera? We had body cameras on us and we forgot to turn them on, and then something like you were just saying, the evidence not there, and then the guy gets beat up pretty good.
It happens.
It happens, and what kind of liabilities do
When
we
you have
have?
electronics, it malfunctions.
Yeah,
And when you have human beings, you're gonna have human errors.
right.
So you can't 100% fix that. Just is what it is.
But it don't put us in any compromising situation for not having the cameras and them not.
My understanding of
I
the,
don't know that I can give a good answer.
my understanding of the case law is that there's no duty to create evidence. However, once evidence is created, there's a duty to preserve it. So having the camera would not, well, I worked criminal defense for a second. So having the camera doesn't make them get in a bad spot if they don't have a video. But if they were to record a video and then lose it, that is more of an issue.
Now, if we had an officer not turning them on or something like that, the sheriff would address that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I was getting to
There would
with
have to be
that.
a policy for that, and that policy would have to be enforced.
Any other questions?
Daisy, did you say this had to be bid out? Or-
So I did a quick search on the Department of General Services.
Not on a state bid, right? Not a-
It will not if it's on a state bid. I did find a state contract number for Axon. I'll just need to click into that and make sure that it covers exactly what they've been quoted. Take a look at that, but as long as it does, it would not have to be bid.
So the money for this would come straight from the fund draw?
Fund draw, or you could go capital projects, or I had, with the SROs, we could probably use that on their portion on the SRO money, correct? I mean, it's supposed to be reoccurring money, and this is, I mean, you could set those 9 aside and pay for them out of the SRO funds, correct?
Coming from the state.
Yeah,
We're currently tracking all the costs.
Yeah,
for
that's what I'm saying,
SROs,
yeah.
So that would be part of what we would track.
right, that's what I'm saying. Okay.
The only thing about that, it's gonna be a logistical nightmare for them to track specific cameras, paying for this and paying for cloud storage out of this person's, and it's gonna be kind of logistically crazy to do that. I mean, you can, of course, put that as part of the $675,000.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
It's part of that, it's showing them that we used it,
Right.
but as far as pulling out of that fund, I think that would be difficult.
We didn't add any of the 675 to their budget physically. I think
Right.
it's what-
Right.
Right.
That's fine.
But what I'm saying is, when it gets to the end, you can add that,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, any further questions?
Do you have anything else?
I mean, no, if we're gonna do it that way, then wouldn't we just do a budget amendment to move that portion of money for the SRO school cameras
Unless
over?
the sheriff's office has it within their current budget, I'm guessing that's kind of their request if they need a budget amendment to make this happen.
I just thought that would be a cleaner way of doing it.
The money's already there. I mean, a budget amendment to what?
So where
Move
would
it from
you,
one
where
line
would
item.
you pay for it from currently? You currently have a spot in your residence or budget for is the
It
question.
would come out of law enforcement, if it's approved, and we get this money, then it would come out of
So
716.
you are asking for the additional funding that would be added to
Right.
cover the costs, so yes, they're asking for a budget amendment.
Motion to approve the additional funding out of the general fund.
Second.
Motion from Casey Elrod, second by Lydia Gregory to approve the additional funding out of which balance did you say? Out of their general fund. Do we have a second? Any final discussion on that motion? Seeing none, that needs to be a roll call vote. That will need to be a roll call vote, Ms. Stacy.
Lydia Gregory,
Yes.
Billy Bass,
Yes.
Chaz Kent,
Yes.
Scotty Barrett,
Yes.
Cordell Smith,
Yes.
Eddie Stout,
Yes.
Stephen Leish,
Yes.
Casey Elrod,
Yes.
Connor McDonald,
Yes.
Benny Huff,
Yes.
Harry Cahoon,
Yes.
All right, the motion to approve will move on to the full
Thank y'all
commission
very much, and I do believe this is needed.
with unanimous approval. As the last item on committee discussions, item 9, any other business? There's none on the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, can I mention one thing that I discussed today with Judge Beller's office?
Sure,
There
absolutely.
is a grant opportunity they are looking at, to make some changes. It's a no-match grant, just kind of wanted to give an idea that it's out there and being talked about in case you catch wind of it. It's for security upgrades at the court facility, and, there is information that I have if you want it forwarded on, but they're in the very early stages of trying to work towards writing a grant to get, again, it's no match. Don't have an estimated dollar figure yet. It's kind of a grant provided through the AOC, and they prioritize a list of the needs over there for security upgrades and needs, and they're putting that together. And also, the Recovery Court program is losing their the secondary grant they have, which is a very small amount, $15,000 to $20,000 per year. They've been notified they won't get that again in the next fiscal year. They are looking at applying for a grant through the opioid settlement through the national funds. And if they are able to write that grant, it would be a no-match grant, but I thought I would mention it. Again, don't have a dollar figure on it yet, but they are working on it.
Okay, and we can discuss those
As they
further
come,
as they
it's-
come
it's
up.
some- yes.
Okay,
Yeah, when we have a budget to amend to, yeah.
right, okay. All right, any other business? Seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn?
adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, Ms.